I'm 45 years of age. I'm a sales director in IT as a profession, and I'm looking for another job. So I thought what might be a good idea would be to make a little film to show you how I prepare for an interview. A lot of it's going to be fairly obvious, but I was thinking to myself this morning, actually people don't really teach you this stuff. I mean, if you go to an employment agency or if you go to a career advisor or somebody like that, they give you some pointers, but they don't really tell you things like, you know, how to dress, how to prepare, how to, you know, look up the company before you go there, what you need to take, the questions that you need to get together. So I thought I'd make just a short film, not very long, just to give you some pointers, just so that you and I can go through the basics of what it is, that the bare minimum of what it is that we need to do to ensure our success in an interview. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick myself an outfit. So it's now, what, 20 to 11, my interview is at 3:30. I know it's about half an hour away from my house, so I will give myself a good 3/4 of an hour to an hour travelling time to get to the appointment, just in case of traffic, or the weather's pretty nasty at the moment, just in case of trees falling over the road or anything could have happened. So it's now 20 to 11 in the morning, and basically what I'm doing is I'm picking my outfit, I'm picking my my skin, if you like. You know, an animal looks good to attract a mate in the same way that I'm going to try and look good to attract a potential employer to pay me, whatever it might be, a year. So I need to look absolutely my best, I need to look my sharpest, not just for the employer, but also for my own peace of mind and for my own self-confidence, because I know if I look good on the outside, the chances are I'm going to present myself from the moment I walk into that room, I'm going to look good, I'm going to give a really good impression. That's very, very important. First impressions count. Not just the way you look, but also your attitude, and the way you look on the outside does actually improve and increase and make the best possible you know, internal attitude that you can have. So basically, first thing I've done is I've accessorised. So I've got myself a nice warm iron, everything's got to look nice and crisp. I've also bought myself some spray starch. Now this can be whether you're a woman or whether you're a man. Spray starch just gives you that crisp white look if you're wearing a white shirt or a white blouse. Just gives you that edge. Doesn't last very long, lasts for about, looks particularly good if you've got a tan, by the way. Doesn't last very long, it lasts about, I reckon, about 2 hours before the Christmas starts going, but that's just enough, because most interviews are about an hour or about 2 hours. I've actually got an hour today, so I've got an hour to impress this lady, funny enough. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick myself a tie. Now this is really important, a tie or any accessories. I feel really comfortable in red, and the reason I like red is because it's supposed to be two things. One, it's supposed to be a power colour, and two, it's supposed to look men slightly more attracted to women. Not sure if that's true or not, that's not the reason I picked it. But I want to ensure that I've got every base covered, every possible base covered. I just like red. I think red is regimented, it reminds you of the forces, it reminds me of power, and it's just very, very neat. And what I've done is I've picked this is a Marks & Spencer's luxury tie. It doesn't have to be an expensive tie, I think these are about 20 quid. If you're a lady, it could be a really nice scarf. The important thing is to coordinate. So I've got red here, and I'm picking out the red with some red cufflinks here. So I've got a couple of red cufflinks, pretty much the same shade as a tie. So I'm going to be using some red cufflinks as well. I do like shirts with cufflinks. I think the double cuff just makes it look really, really nice. So I'm going to use that tie. Those cufflinks to go with it, and I'm lucky because yesterday was Remembrance Day. So in England we celebrate, or rather we have a couple of minutes silence for all the brave soldiers that have passed away in duty, and we wear a poppy. So I'm actually going to wear a poppy today because I think, you know, that shows that I'm quite a caring type of person, shows that I'm also, you know, up to date with what's going on. But it also, funnily enough, colour coordinates with the tie as well. This is my suit, so really nice business suit. I'm going to give it a once over with the iron. I've had it dry cleaned. Again, business suit just makes you look good, makes you feel good, makes you look like you're there to do business. makes you look like you're prepared for the interview. So I like a nice dark lounge suit. I prefer stripes because I'm a shiny sales guy, but you can pick anything that you feel comfortable in. But I do like dark colours because the dark colour sets off the colour of your tie. In my top pocket, it's up to you whether you have this or not. In my top pocket, I'm going to have a hanky. Again, it's just a nice little touch. It just goes to show that you've you spent a bit of time thinking about how you look. And I like it. I think you have a top pocket in a suit for a reason. That reason is to show off some sort of plumage, if you like, and that for me is a hanky. So I'm actually going to iron that hanky. And the little trick, what I do when I put the hanky in the pocket, because it just automatically slides down, I just go inside the jacket and put a small safety pin just to make sure it doesn't hang. So, shirt. Again, I got myself a really nice white laundered shirt. I don't know if anyone's ever taught you how to iron a shirt properly. I was actually taught in the army, so I'm quite lucky. So this is again a Marks & Spencer's autograph shirt. It doesn't have to be an expensive shirt. It's double cuffed, and it's got a slight pattern in it, but it's pretty much white. And I've picked one where the buttons are hidden. That looks quite nice. So I'm going to give that once over. When you're ironing a shirt, if I can show you this, it's quite important. When you're ironing a shirt, always start with the collar. Always start with the collar. Don't iron on the side that you're going to see. Iron on the back, just in case you've got something on your iron. So make sure your iron's clean, fairly hot, not maximum, and quite a lot of steam. And push down, give it a bit of welly. Iron your shirt collar first. Turn it over. Again, that's the side that we're going to see, so we don't want to touch that with the iron. Turn it over. Get a nice crisp line, and along you go. Now this is where I would start to use my starch, just to give that a really nice crispness. I mean, in olden days, they actually, believe it or not, they used to be made out of cardboard, so they used to really stick up into your throat. Very uncomfortable. I remember wearing one for a school play once, and it was after about half an hour, it was horrible. So make sure you shake your spray starch always, otherwise you're going to get little white lumps and it looks like dandruff, which is pretty horrible. Now, talking about dandruff and talking about cleanliness, hygiene, I've already had a shower early on. I've already had a shave, and the reason I had a shave early is because I've got quite sensitive skin, so it can actually show up little red blisters. So I always shave a good 3 or 4 hours early, just so if there's any redness or any rawness, I can just pick off those scabs and it doesn't look too bad. But more importantly, if you have a shave and you bleed, you're going to bleed on your white shirt, and that looks really, really horrible. When you're eye-to-eye contact with somebody in an interview, they're going to be seeing all these little things. Give yourself confidence. Give yourself the best possible chance you've got to get the job. Because it's really competitive out there, especially as we're in a recession, which might be a double-dip recession. Especially as I live in the southeast of England, IT, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of good people out there that are going to be chasing the same job as me. So I need absolutely to be 100% prepared. Okay, we've done the collar. Look at that collar. Look how that's come out. Look, it's almost like it's got its own built-in crease. It works really, really well. You put that around your neck, it's going to look really, really nice. The next thing I do is I start on one side of the shirt. So we bring that like that. One side of the shirt. Just give it a quick once over with the iron first. Get your starch again, quite high up, not too much. Let it dry, and you'll see as you iron, it looks pretty horrible to start with, but as you iron, it also smells really nice. Some of this spray starch smells really, really nice. Going back to personal hygiene, aftershave I think is really, really important, and I think perfume is really, really important for a lady as well. Try and pick a nice one if you can. There's nothing worse than turning up and smelling of Brute or High Karate or Lynx or something like that, something cheap. Try and smell nice. I actually use well, it doesn't matter what I use, but I use Quorum, or I use Antius by Chanel. Again, if you're a lady, a nice, if you can afford it, depending on what job you're going for. If you go for a cleaning job, I wouldn't suggest you wear Chanel. You probably couldn't afford it anyway. But just not overpowering. If you're going to wear some, make sure you've got deodorant on, obviously, because an interview is quite a hot, quite a stressful atmosphere. You're going to sweat. You're going to perspire if you're a lady, so make sure you've got perspiration, you've got antiperspirant on. And if you're going to wear perfume, which I would suggest, not too much, not overpowering. So you know what it's like when you've walked in a room and woo, the person's trying to hide something because they stink of perfume, and it can be overpowering. And it, you know, at the end of the interview, it can leave the interviewer with a wrong impression because, you know, you're smelling like a horse handbag, as they say. I'm just going to move this camera because it's dropped a little bit. So, just to recap, this is our outfit. This is our camouflage. This is our, you know, in the olden days, when Victorian days, you see these pictures of soldiers and they're dressed in bright scarlet with their plumes coming out of their hats and all the brass and gold, you know, breastplates and things like that. Think of a Coldstream Guard, you know, the guys that are at the at Buckingham Palace in London changing the guard. They look absolutely pristine. And the reason they look pristine is because, you know, if you were unfortunate enough to have the British Army or the French Army or the American Army, whatever it might be, coming over a hill dressed like that, you know, where they've really taken time on their appearance, it's formidable. You're going to be scared. You're going to be a lot more worried than if it was a load of people coming over the hill in jeans who don't really give a damn about their impressions. It's the same sort of thing, really. Just give yourself the best possible chance. That's all I'm saying. Give yourself the best possible chance. You know, you've got this far, you've got yourself an interview, however that might be, whether you've submitted your CV online, whether you've taken the balls to ring the company direct and sell yourself over the phone, whether you've applied for something over a paper. You know, if you're going to see the bank manager to get yourself a loan, same thing, it's an interview, you're selling yourself. It's all about selling yourself, making the best impression possible. So you'll see what I've done there is I've done both sides of the shirt. This is quite an important bit where the buttons go. Nice and crisp. I was taught this in the army. I was actually in the army for a while in the military police, and they teach you how to, believe it or not, they teach you how to iron trousers and iron shirts really, really well. Crafty one, nasty one is, I always do the cuffs first. Arms always give me a real hassle. Luckily the arm's going to be underneath my shirt, so I don't need to do a really crisp crease down there, but I'm just going to try and make my cuffs nice and crisp because they will be showing outside of my shirt, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Outside of my suit, I mean, I'll show you what I mean by that. If you've got a good fitting suit, you should be able to see a bit of cuff coming out the back of it. Again, maybe sounds a bit too much detail, but yeah, it's things like that really make a difference. And I know that when I walk in that room and I shake that lady's hand, important, shake her hand firmly, be positive. I know that if I've done everything I possibly can to prepare, then I know in my own head I'm going to have the best chance ever. And if I walk away from that interview and I don't get the next stage, whatever that might be, whether it be a second interview, whether it be sat in front of HR, whether it be given the job there and then, being confident, I know that if I don't get past that stage, either it's because I'm not the type of person they're looking for, which is fair enough, or there's somebody better with maybe better experience than me. You know, I know the reasons if I don't get to the next stage aren't because I didn't do a good job. And sometimes if I don't get to the next stage, it's their loss. I'll just move on and look for something else. But positive. So we've done the shirt, really nice, crisp, really nice crisp shirt. So I've done that. Okay, you can see, look at that. Let's actually just give it a once over before you put it back on the hanger. Important, put it back on the hanger. Don't go and chuck it on the bed. You just spent 10 minutes ironing your shirt. Don't go and chuck it back on the bed, or it's all going to get creased. There you go. So nice, crisp shirt. Now, you add the tie to that. It's going to look really nice. Right. So that's your shirt. Now, suit or outer layer, as I like to call it. What I normally do is I normally give the trousers a once over first of all. So trousers are quite, again, it's an easy way to prepare your trousers. Get them so that the creases or the lines go all the way down, and then put the waist end towards the end of the ironing board. Try and get the crease on the inside leg first. See what I'm doing? Inside, let's push that so you can see it. Inside leg first. Again, no starch on dark clothes. They make a complete and utter mess. Just use starch on white clothes, because otherwise you'll just have to, you'll be panicking because you have to find yourself a new outfit 2 hours before the interview. But the others, keep it on the same leg. Just gets rid of those little creases that you get behind the back of your knee. Again, just the last touch, turn it round. Just make sure it looks okay on the other side. Maybe give that a quick once over. Quite a hot iron, remember, because the irons do the work for you, you're not pushing down. It's a hot iron, irons are quite heavy, they're heavy for a reason, it's because they do the job for you. Last leg, and we're nearly done with the outfit. One thing we haven't discussed is footwear. Whether you like it or not, people do look down at your feet. So, for me personally, it's just a nice, plain, no Versace logo, Gucci logo, just a nice, plain, black pair of shoes, leather shoes, to go with my suit. Making sure that my trousers aren't too long, so they drag on the floor, and not too short, so that they show my socks. Socks, and make sure your shoes are shiny, not too patent leather shiny, but nice and shiny. Just see, again, so you've made the effort. Socks, really important. Don't wear white socks. Don't wear I love you daddy or Simpson socks to an interview. They might be funny, you know, your kids or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife might have thought they were funny on Christmas Day. They're no good for interviews. Right, so that's your trousers, look, nice and crisp. Look pretty good. I'm just going to do, again, once over, just found another little crease at the bottom there, so I'm going to do that. Once I've done the outfit, I'm going to show you how I physically prepare for the interview. So what it is that I do for the interview. So there you go. Trousers done, shirt done. Last thing is jacket. I know people say you shouldn't iron a jacket, but I just like, things I like doing, just give the lapels a quick once over so they don't stick out. Just give it a quick once over, doesn't do any harm. Makes it look nice and flat. I always have my pocket flaps out. Again, it's completely up to you. Personal taste. It's a uniform. I know there's some of you watching this thinking, what a palaver, all this just to get a job. But, you know, if someone's going to pay you a lot of money, or if someone's going to pay you any money in today's recession atmosphere, you've got to look your best. You've got to walk into that room, you've got to look sharp, you've got to look your best. In the same way that you prepare what you're going to say, you know, doing your clothes is just important. So that's your suit done. Make sure just going to do that lapel as well. So, suit done. How long's that taken me? Not long, what, 5 minutes if that? It's ready. Nothing else I need to do now. My shoes are done already, as I said. There's my I'm just going to show you this. It's up to you. I think that looks really smart with a little handkerchief in the pocket, actually. So that other way around. Now, if you're really confident, you can wear a really bright handkerchief. Me personally, I just like white. And that's it. I'm going to put all this on before I go out the door to the interview, so I'm just going to show you what I look like. But for your outfit, that's pretty much it. Right, let's talk about how we prepare for the interview, the type of questions that we're going to need to ask, the type of things that we're going to be expect to prepare for, the things we're going to be asked, the research that we need to do. You know, in the same way, I mean, I'm a sales guy. Before I go into a sales meeting with any potential prospect or any potential client, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to look at what the company does, look at what their problems are. I'm going to research it. I'm going to be sat in front of, in the same way as if you go for a date, yeah? If you go for a date and you're not interested in that person, and you don't look in that person's eyes, you don't focus on what it is they're saying, and you don't listen, you're not going to get very far. I can guarantee you, if you go to a party, the next party that you go to, pick one person out of that party, go up to them, and just make out that you're really, even if you're not, make out that you're really interested. Just ask some questions. Oh, hi, what do you do for a living? Right, that's really interesting. What does that mean? Explain that a little bit more. Really get inside their head. I can guarantee that when that person goes home that night, if they're asked by their other half or whoever it is the next day or that night after the party, did you enjoy the party? I can guarantee they're going to say, do you know what, that was a really good party. There were really interesting people at that party. Just because you've taken the time out to give that person some interest, to make out that you're interested in that person. It's very important. Human beings absolutely love that. Right, that's the outfit. turn the iron off. That's the outfit. Let's talk about how we're actually going to physically prepare for the interview.